Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a lot to talk about, so prepare yourselves. We had a little bit of controversy within the wotw community recently when Raf posed the question about potentially swapping the game over to the Unreal Engine. You might recall I did a poll in my last video where surprisingly a lot of you were game for switching to Unreal. That of course would mean that the game would be delayed for quite a long time. Well, it is time for me to finally update you on that because it turns out Raf has decided he's going to stick with Unity and switch to the HDRP, which is the high definition render pipeline, which I don't know too much about how it works, but essentially it means that the game will look better and it will run better. I spoke to him yesterday and he's told me that the conversion has already been completed, so it definitely seems like this is the right move, and I'm really looking forward to trying the game out with better performance and better graphics. As for how long the game will be delayed for, I'm willing to bet that this game will still be a few months delayed at least, but it's definitely not going to be as long as if he was switching over to Unreal. Now, the next controversial thing I wanted to talk about was how Flipswitch announced their new tripod design. You know, the 100% movie accurate, potentially copyright infringement version. Don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, but there was a bit of a stir in the community about this new design because technically the design of these tripods belongs to Paramount Studios, who, if they wanted to, could come along and potentially sue Flipswitch Games, which of course would suck. However, I do bring some good news. Whilst I believe Raf is continuously trying to get in touch with Paramount to try and actually get the game licensed, which would be great because if he did that then he could just go ahead with the 100% movie accurate version with no worries whatsoever. He's also announced to Patreon members that him and Eld have been working on a new backup design. Now, they already had a backup design which was from quite a while ago, but I never saw it. I don't believe I've seen it, so I don't know how cool it looks or anything like that. I imagine not as good as what Eld can do. However, this new backup design still looks really good, but is apparently different from the movie's version. I can't show it to you yet because it's still Patreon only access, so if you want to see it, better go on and support the game on Patreon. But what I can say is, to me, the untrained eye, it looks pretty much spot on anyway. So worst case scenario, if they need to change from the 100% accurate look to avoid any copyright issues, they can go to this sort of like near enough perfect backup design. So I think we can all just take a breath and relax now. In other news, I do have a pretty cool announcement to make. So Flipswitch has been working on improving the NPCs within the game as they do cause a lot of performance loss, but at the same time he's starting to introduce dialogue and things like that to give the game a bit more depth, and surprisingly I've been asked if I want to do some NPC dialogue. So your boy's going to be in the game, which is really cool because, you know, I've got to spend some time thinking up lines for NPCs, which I've already got a few in mind, but if you guys have any suggestions as to what you'd like me to say as a random NPC, make sure you leave them in the comments. Preferably not too long of lines, maybe just like a few words or short sentences would probably be best, but I'd still be curious to see what you can come up with. Alternatively, you can just hop into my Discord server, there'll be a link in the description and you can talk to me there and we can go through potential ideas there. But it is really cool because this is it's a rare opportunity to actually be in a game or play a role in the development. I've been involved with feedback and testing, which is already a first for me, but to be doing dialogue for a video game is like, it's next level cool for me. I've always wanted to make video games, but I've never really been smart enough to actually know where to start, so this is basically the next best thing, and potentially, if I do a good enough job, I might be able to do this again in the future in another game. Who knows? Either way, I'm absolutely hyped over this. So I'm going to spend a good bit of time making a bunch of different voice lines and send them in. So when the game comes out, be sure to listen out for a random British guy running around. It is going to be weird hearing myself in a game. That's not something that many people get to experience. To be fair, I do have you guys to thank for this, because if my videos weren't getting the views that they were and the channel hadn't grown tenfold since I started covering this game, I probably wouldn't have had this chance, so thank you, this is pretty awesome. Anyways, that is everything I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a like, it really helps me with the algorithm. Your thoughts are always appreciated in the comments below. Special thanks to my members for continuing to support me, I really do appreciate it, I am grateful to you. Make sure you subscribe and you ring the bell so that way you get notifications when I post a new video, and I will see you very soon.